Hi everyone, I'm David Bennion and I've been an immigration lawyer since 2006. In 2016 I started a nonprofit called Free Migration Project to fight for freedom of movement for all people. Tonight I'll be talking about why most of what we've been told about immigration is wrong and how we can make things better. First, we're told Republicans support immigrants and separate families and Democrats protect immigrant communities. This is only half true since Democrats also deport immigrants and separate families. This is baby Tomasa, whose father was taken away by ICE agents in a workplace raid in 2007 in New Bedford, Massachusetts. The Bush administration created ICE and the Department of Homeland Security as a way to consolidate power after the 9/11 attacks. This is former DHS Secretary Jay Johnson touring child detention sites in 2014 with Jan Brewer, the former governor of Arizona. I found this photo on Jan Brewer's Twitter where she was claiming that kids in cages also happened under Obama. Turns out she was right. This is my colleague Nancy Nguyen, an immigrant rights advocate and a US citizen. In October 2020, Nancy was arrested at her home in Philly in front of her children after engaging in a peaceful protest outside the ICE director's house in Virginia. One of the first things Border Patrol agents did under the Biden administration was chase down and whip Haitian immigrants from horseback at the border. I promise you those people will pay, Biden said at the time. That was a lie. Politicians tell us the problem is unauthorized migration, being somewhere the government says you shouldn't be because of where you were born. They tell us we should be afraid of the people you just saw in those slides and that the solution is more deportation. Isn't a better solution to create more legal pathways through comprehensive immigration reform? Well, not really. Comprehensive doesn't mean everyone gets a green card. It refers to a three-part compromise with legalization, guest worker programs, and increased deportations. Now both parties have stopped pretending there will be any legalization, only more deportation. So if both political parties agree on what the problem is and both agree on the solution, why hasn't anything changed? Usually we're better off looking at what politicians do rather than listening to what they say. There's something called in-group, out-group theory, where we favor people in our own group at the expense of those who aren't. Researchers have found that people can form in-groups within minutes and on the basis of made-up characteristics such as the color of shirt you're wearing. If fake temporary groups can trigger in-group favoritism, imagine what happens when you have groups of people distinguished by language, culture, race, and religion. In a world of nation-states, immigrants are a quintessential out-group. We hear a lot about rule of law when people talk about immigration, but immigration law is anything but fair. In immigration court, asylum denial rates range from 97.1% for a judge in Houston to 1.2% for a judge in San Francisco. That's why the most important factor in any asylum case is not the facts, but the identity of the judge. The immigration system is also based on a racial hierarchy that favors white Europeans. We saw this clearly where Afghans applying for parole were almost all denied after they paid a fee, while Ukrainians filing the same application for free were almost all approved. The actual purpose of the immigration system is to target a disfavored group in order to exploit them and manipulate everyone else. That's not an immigration system, it's a deportation system. Why would we want to create a better one of those? I believe the true problem we face is not people moving where they need to go, but the government locking those people up and deporting them. Identifying the right problem is the first step to identifying solutions. Your ability to travel and live freely in a place depends on your passport, which most people got through accident of birth. Birthright citizenship is based on either jus soli, right of soil, place of birth, or jus sanguinis, which means right of blood or parentage. So the key terms the entire global immigration system is based on are literally blood and soil, one of the most infamous slogans of Nazi ideology. Maybe this is a red flag. We support a new category for legally belonging to a place, jus locus, or right of place. That means that if you live in a community, you should have the same legal rights as anyone else in that community. We don't make people pay thousands of dollars and wait 20 years to move from Pennsylvania to New Jersey. They just pick up and go there. We don't need to do that for our immigration system either. We do it because it benefits the wealthy and powerful people who run this country. We shouldn't fall into the trap of opposing freedom of movement just because it's unpopular right now. We all know historical examples of where something was legal but wrong. Some people think just because we can't do something right now, like dismantle the deportation system, that means it should never be done. But that's backwards. If we know something is right and should be done, We have to believe that it can be done. Believing something can be done is the first step to actually doing it. Thank you, and free Palestine.